Erica, have you heard from Bob?
I sent him a text earlier and he, oh, let me give him a call. Oh, maybe that's him.
You want me to call him?
I'll call him.
Okay.
Next one looks like.
I called him and it went to voicemail.
Yeah, he's trying to get in. Apparently he's having some issues. So I told him to call you
Okay,
if he can't get in.
okay.
We have a Jurassic Park member here. Chief, have you heard anything on from Leah?
She admitted, and she sent me a picture of her left hand. It is very swollen, and they feel that is a direct result of the infection. So they're going to put an IV in her with antibiotics. So
Okay.
that's it for right now. That's all I know right now. And I don't think with everything going on with COVID, we can even stop by and say hello to her. So
I know.
yeah. So.
Erica, you see Bob coming in or no?
I don't
No.
see him, not even calling either. Let me try giving him a call.
If they want to. They want to.
Okay, Erica? You're muted.
Hold on, he's logging in right now, sir.
Okay.
Okay. I see you, Councilman. Well, I see you coming into the meeting, so.
Yes. Dial in. Unmute. Let's start your video. Okay. Is that okay?
There he
There I
is.
am. Thanks, Erica. I had this trouble last night with doing my classes at Blessed Trinity, actually. Thank you. Anyway, hi, everyone.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
Good.
Hey,
How are
Bob.
Are you
Hey,
ready?
James. Thanks, Mayor, for waiting, for putting up with me.
I couldn't say anything. I was muted.
Good. That would be just as well.
Now, if I was muted, we would have went, baby, went.
Oh,
Yeah.
You ready? Erica,
yes,
you
we're
ready?
all ready. We're all
All
here.
right, call the roll. Call
Mayor
the roll.
Bain,
I'm still here.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Here.
Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Here.
Councilman Petrolanda.
Here.
Okay, we have invocation by Councilwoman Maria Mitchell.
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight. We ask that you bestow wisdom and compassion upon us as we combine our efforts for the betterment of our beloved city and its residents. We are reminded that while we may not agree on all issues, everyone present shares the calling to care for our community. For these and all of our blessings, we are eternally grateful. Amen.
Amen. We go
Amen.
to the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, ready? I pledge allegiance.
To the flag
To the flag
Flag.
Now,
of the United States of America
America,
and to the
To the
republic for
republic
which it stands,
and
for
to
which
the
it stands,
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with liberty and
and
justice
justice
for all.
all. The way that came out, it could have been maybe something to do background for a rap song. I'll tell you what, that was,
A rap song?
yeah, it was all muttered. I'm telling you, it was pretty
Yeah, I
good.
heard
It
that
was
too, Bill. I heard.
delayed and fast at the
It
same
was
time.
delayed yeah, I don't know what happened there. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit different tonight. I had counsel with the city attorney. We're gonna go to 8. We're gonna go to 8 and read the public and do the public hearing and then come back to open forum. So we're gonna do public hearing. We're gonna go 8A. I guess we should read the resolutions and discuss and go forward.
Okay,
Yes.
fair enough,
This is
sir.
a, this is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, adopting the final millage rate for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021, announcing the percentage increase in property taxes and providing for an effective date. Again, this is proposing maintaining the millage rate at 7.3300, the current rate.
And is Heidi there?
Yeah, she should be.
There she is.
I'm here, Mayor.
All right, do you want him to read the second resolution or?
If you'd like, yeah, we can open up both, and I think that there's a millage message, rollback rate message that we
All right,
also.
go
need to-
ahead, and read the second resolution.
Second, this is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, adopting a final budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2020 and ending September 30th, 2021, providing for expenditure of budgeted funds, providing for budgetary controls, providing for grants and gifts, providing for budget amendments, providing for encumbrances, and providing for an effective date.
Okay. Is there any word where it stipulates in these two resolutions what the millage rate will be set at?
Yes, it's in the first resolution,
7.33, sir.
section 2 of the first resolution.
Read it.
Adopting the final millage rate and announcing rollback rate that the city of Miami Springs final millage rate for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021, is hereby fixed at 7.3300 mils per $1,000 of assessed property value, which is 5.35% greater than the rollback rate of 6.9575 mils per $1,000 of assessed property value.
Okay. All right. Now, do you want me to open up for public speaking now, or do you want any discussion first, Heidi?
Well, to the chair, I think you have to, sir, because it's a
Wait,
public hearing.
I'm going to go in order though. What do you want there, Heidi? Open it up and open it up to the public, or discuss first?
Yeah, let's open it up for public hearing. And I don't think that there's too many people on the call. I only see 2 people, but
Okay. All right. Whoever wishes to speak on the public hearing of 8A and 8B, Erica, welcome them in if there's anybody there.
Yes, those who are attending, which I believe is through the Zoom app, you just need to raise your hand. Just use
And maybe make your disclaimer about all the different avenues that they could get in so that we don't have to cut this meeting off.
Okay. Anyone who would like to speak during this public meeting may do so by dialing 305-805-5151 or 305-805-5152. Input the meeting ID, which is 863-9512-4146, followed by the pound sign. There is no participant ID. Press the pound sign again. If you will be speaking through the telephone, press *9 to raise your hand. And if you're attending the meeting through the Zoom app, just use the raise your hand function.
Okay. Is there anybody out there that wishes to speak on the items?
Mr. Corey, were you going to speak now, or?
Oh, is this the open?
Well,
public
this is for
forum?
the budget. This is for the budget hearing.
No.
It's for the-
I'm going to speak on the open.
Okay,
forum.
I'm gonna mute you and stop your
Thank you.
video.
I
and then
can
we'll-
mute myself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
He's smart. He knows how to mute himself.
Unmute himself.
First time I use this application, so
Hey, mute yourself. You
I may struggle.
He's got the hearing aid, the whole package on there, the headphones and stuff. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
there's a story behind that, but I won't bore you with it.
Anybody else there? Erica,
No, sir, I don't have any, sorry. I don't have anyone else that would like
we'll
to.
give him a few more minutes.
Okay.
A few minutes. Who's coughing?
Hey, did I hear dogs barking earlier?
No, it's a guy coughing. I don't know who that is. Cover your mouth.
There was dogs barking there.
Mr. Mayor, that was me, the chief, coughing.
Oh, you were coughing? Put the mask back on. All right, I'm gonna close the public hearing. There's nobody there.
Well,
right?
nobody's calling in. Yeah.
You
Right.
see anything? Okay, all right. If there's any, I open it up for discussion, but if there's not any changes in this budget, I open it up for a motion to approve the budget as presented today.
Through the chair, motion to move 8A and 8B.
I'll second it.
Any further
Mayor,
discussion?
let's just make sure when we ultimately vote, we need to do the millage first.
We need to do one at a time, yeah. We
Okay.
need to
Okay.
do
All
that.
right.
But
We're gonna do,
withdraw the motion, and through the chair, motion to move 8A.
Let me read 8A first, and then you can vote on it. A
okay,
resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, adopting the final millage rate for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021, announcing the percentage increase in property taxes and providing for an effective date.
okay. And just restate what the millage is going to be.
7.3300.
Okay, do I have a motion for 8A?
Through the chair, motion to move, sir.
Do I have a second?
Second it. I'll
Do I have
second.
any further discussion? Call the vote, please.
Mayor, before the vote, I just wanted to clarify I know I've heard from some residents who are confused with the millage rate, that we did keep it at the same rate as last year. We had tentatively increased it just for wiggle room while we were working on the budget, but we did keep it as the same as last year. There was no increase.
That is
Good
correct.
point. Good point, Councilwoman.
I got a first and second. Call a vote.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes, we go to 8B.
8B is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, adopting a final budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021, providing for expenditure of budgeted funds, providing for budgetary controls, providing for grants and gifts, providing for budget amendments, providing for encumbrances, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
Through the chair, motion to move 8B, sir.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Call a vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes, okay, that's very good. And we go forward now. We're going to go with.
Mayor, can I just make a statement here before you continue? I would like to commend you for keeping the millage rate at what it was. And I commend the rest of my colleagues for going along with that. Nice job, sir.
You got, thank you very much, but I gotta say collectively, we worked on it without too much misery. And I think we did a good job. I think we could have done, in my mind, a little more, but you guys that are gonna be
Right.
after, we're gonna have to live with this budget, not me. We're gonna go back to the open forum, and anybody who wishes to speak on any subject is welcome. So, Erica, if you have anybody wishing to speak,
Yes,
now's the time.
I believe Mr. Corey wanted to speak at this time.
All right, Mr. Corey, you're up.
Thank you so much, Mayor Bain, council members, and all attending. The purpose of my comments tonight is in reference to short-term rentals, my personal experience with them, and other related concerns. For the last year or so, we have had an Airbnb operate from my neighbor's property. While you may think that short-term rentals may be a viable option for someone traveling, this property, and I suspect many others, are used as venues for large gatherings, parties, and even weddings. Loud music, excessive number of people at late hours of the night, and early mornings are frequent. I can tell you stories of how the house was used as a hub for an apparent filming production, and neighbors had to call law enforcement because the street was being blocked in the middle of the day. Neighbors counted at least 21 cars in front of the house on that day. More recently, just 2 weeks ago, the police were called to shut down a party long after midnight and disperse a crowd of at least 50 people. This is in the middle of a pandemic. In the past year, we have had to call the police countless times because of noise and loud music. I do have videos and pictures in case anyone wants to review them. I can go on with other stories that I believe are not unique. I am pointing out my personal experience, but make no mistake, these short-term rentals are businesses popping up in the middle of our neighborhoods that are altering our way of life. These businesses are not regulated in any form and are allowed to operate without oversight. They go on with their practices, taxing our resources without consequences. I am not entirely opposed to short-term rentals. I believe the city should require these businesses to register as such and held accountable with rules and regulations that protect the character of our city and relieve our taxes. It's only fair. I ask and certainly hope that you take these comments seriously and explore ways to bring these short-term rental businesses under proper oversight, mitigate the burden to our services, and help preserve the character of our community. I thank you for allowing me to address you, and I'm
Thank you
available
very
for
much.
any questions.
Very good, very professional. We'll discuss this.
Thank you.
We'll discuss this we're not going to go in now, but we'll discuss it if council wants to discuss it in our closing statements to see if we want to go ahead and put it on the agenda and get the city attorney's input for it. Anybody else want to speak on this issue? Or on any issue?
I appreciate that, by the way.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. Anybody else, Erica, for any issue?
There's another participant who's attending through the app. If you'd like to speak, you may raise your hand using the raise your hand function.
A puppy.
Wants to speak.
Mayor, I think a dog might want to weigh in here.
Erica, anything?
Nothing, sir.
All right, we're gonna close the open forum for now. Erica, you let me know if anybody comes in.
Absolutely.
We'll give them the 3 to 5 minutes they need for any subject, but we're gonna go ahead and continue the meeting. We go to 9A, consent agenda.
Mayor, we have to do 6A first.
6A was the bid, 6A, that's the minutes for September 14th, 2020 regular council meeting.
To the chair, motion to move, sir.
Mayor, I have some comments on the minutes.
Go ahead.
I'd like for Erica to please revise where it talks about the River Cities Festival. I don't think that the language reflects what we decided upon. If you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the motion was that we would give $5,000 to the River Cities Committee, and they would have to provide receipts in return for those $5,000. And then going forward, the city would release money when the River Cities Committee brought us invoices, and that way they wouldn't have the burden of having to front money and bring us back paid invoices that we would have to reimburse. And that's what the wording says here. So I just wanted to be clear that what we voted on was to give $5,000 in seed money. The River Cities Committee would have to provide us with receipts, and any invoices that they brought to the city would release the money to pay those invoices.
Through the chair, I was opposed to that, but that is exactly what it says. You're right.
Okay. So I need a motion for the minutes as amended.
You have, as amended, sir, you have.
Okay, I'll second it.
Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes, we go on to 9A. This is consent agenda, and this is a recommendation.
This is a recommendation by the Police Department that council authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Royal Rent-A-Car Systems of Florida, utilizing Miami-Dade County's bid number 8809-0/19 vehicle rental services in the amount of $37,317.60 for the monthly rental of 4 vehicles for a 12-month period, as funds were qualify for the expenditure from the Police Law Enforcement Trust Fund, as funds are projected in the fiscal year 2021 budget pursuant to section 31C2 of the city code.
Okay, does anybody need to pull this off for discussion?
I do not, sir.
Nobody?
not.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to move.
Second.
Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes, we go on to 11A, a resolution.
This is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Miami Springs, Florida, approving a Fourth Amendment to the contract with Martin Outdoor Media, Inc. for bus bench advertising, providing for authorization, providing for an effective date. Mayor, we've been using Martin Outdoor for about the last 4 or 5 years now. They approached us because their contract expired, I believe, in May. What they're asking in this new contract, just for background, the revenue generated from this is about $300 a month for $3,600 a year. What they're asking for is, due to the COVID pandemic, they've been having problems placing advertising on these benches as businesses have closed down. So they've asked that we give them rent-free and they'll begin rental payments January 1st of 2021. And basically that's what they're asking for. And under the new contract, they'll be paying us, I believe, a little bit more. Let's see. Here we go. It's going to be the first year from April 1st, 2020 to May 31st, 2021. They'll pay us $23 per bus bench. In year 2, it goes up to $23.25 and so on until year 5, which is $23.50 per bench.
Per month, right?
Correct.
Through the chair, William, is this the original? These are the original people we did this with, right?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I have a few questions for the
Sure.
city manager.
Go ahead.
William, so how long are they asking? My understanding is you're saying that they're asking to be relieved of the rent payment for a few months. Is that correct?
Correct. Until they'll begin rent payments January 1st of 2021.
And so when are they going to start not paying, or have they not been paying the rent?
They haven't been paying since March when the pandemic hit.
So
Okay.
through the chair, is that in violation of the contract, Mayor?
Yes, it is. And the contract expired, I believe, in May of this year. So they were in violation for March, April, and 12 days of May.
Okay.
Through the chair, should this be considered in what we're going to do here tonight?
Well, my other question too is the advertising that they have still on the bus benches right now?
They still have advertising, old advertising. They haven't replaced any of it, but
But that may be
remember-
that they're getting revenue on that advertisement,
no,
because it's still there.
From what the gentleman was telling me, they'll have advertising for a certain period of time. The advertising will stay on there, but businesses just don't pay them.
Right, but the thing is, we're still, our city is still providing place for advertisement for these businesses, whether or not the intermediary is paying us. So something, I don't know, something here makes me uncomfortable with the whole of, I don't have a problem with waiving these months that they haven't paid necessarily, it's 3 months, because obviously under the pandemic, business as usual was impossible. But there's something there, if the bus benches are still advertising all this time and we're not getting revenue for it, and not till January, then that advertising should be covered. Because if not, the advertising is being provided and what's to say in January that anything will change? Or that they'll come back to us with, the similar problem that they're not getting paid by the businesses. So I don't know. I think maybe we need to.
Councilwoman Mitchell, I would, through the chair, sorry. Councilwoman Mitchell, I would say that maybe we ought to see some numbers about why they couldn't pay. We've seen nothing, right?
Right. I would rather delay this to get more information on this, because there's a lot of loose ends on this.
Through the chair, I concur.
William, we're talking about $3,600, right?
We're talking about $300 a month.
So,
Part of the work they do is they also maintain those benches.
Has that maintenance been happening throughout this time?
They've been clean, because if not, that falls on Public Works. They're responsible for maintaining those benches, which they have been doing.
Okay.
Through the chair, certainly the one on 36th Street hasn't been maintained.
Which one?
I'm just going by what our manager said, Councilman, and if the manager says they've been maintained, I got to go by his word.
I can't, all I can tell you, sir, is what I've seen.
I don't want, and I don't know, I see the little way it's going here, but as far as I'm concerned, the way things are, as we talked about things before in the last meeting with the river cities and the different things about what's going on with the COVID situation, I don't want to cut our nose off in spite of our face, because there's nobody else going to come around here and use our bus benches and basically clean them in the next year. So to have something in our pocket for somebody who's been doing this for a while, I think it's a little bit disconcerting to go ahead and just cut them off because of the situation of COVID. I would go with what the manager and staff has recommended and allow them to come back and do in January and allow them to go ahead and keep participating in our bus benches. But I kind of feel a little bit taken aback that we just take another business and just cut it off for COVID. And really there's nothing coming out of the pocket of the city of Miami Springs in this situation. Nothing at all. Or just anything. It's maybe something, a covenant that down the road here might be good business, that when things start to pick up, we pick up somebody that'll be loyal to our city. But that's my thought. I think we should go with what the manager recommended and allow it to go forward. That's my thought.
Through the chair, I'd like to respond to that, Mayor. I'm not suggesting otherwise. I'm not disagreeing with we should, but I'd like to see some numbers though. And I'm not sure that tonight we have seen enough to know what's going on with these people.
And I agree with Councilman Best. All I said was, I did not say to go to another business. I said, I think there's too many loose ends. We don't have enough information on this. If they're paying us for advertising and the advertising is there, but it's still there, but then they're not paying us, and then we're going to sign a contract and agree. It just sets a precedent for other contracts as to, how much we monitor these things.
I would argue that there's no such thing as what you're talking about in this situation, what a contract is. I would argue that the fact is
Contract's a contract. I mean,
but we could always, if they break the contract, it always could be terminated. But at least we have something set for 2021.
I don't think, Mayor, I don't think we're suggesting we terminate the contract.
What do you want? You want more information for the next meeting?
Yes, sir. I think that's what Councilwoman Mitchell and I are asking
more
for.
Information for next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, well then we'll defer till next meeting with more information from management.
I'm good with that, sir.
Mayor, I have a question. I have a quick question. William, this is a 5-year contract, right? Not a 1-year contract, correct?
Right.
It's a 5-year contract, not a 1-year contract. So.
Okay. All right. Do I have that from Mr. Walter? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I know there's 25 locations, right? The benches?
17.
17. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know where they are.
My fear right now is, can we do something? My fear is to go ahead and wait, and maybe they get cold feet, and then we have to go ahead and put our public works to clean all these benches up.
No, I got you.
Well, that's always a possibility, Mayor.
Yeah, I mean,
that's always a possibility. You're right. No, you're spot on. You're right.
Are you cutting your, are you thinking about just the fact that the contract states that they got to keep the benches clean? Even that in itself is a benefit to the city. I don't want to cut our nose off of our face and not do anything tonight. Now, then all of a sudden in 2 weeks to say, well, that's it. We don't want to be involved in Miami Springs. Now we're throwing this situation on the public works to clean the benches.
All right, since the mayor's uncomfortable with delaying this, William, may I ask William another question on this? How do they clean the benches? Is it that you, upon request, or they automatically are just responsible, like a lawn for service or whatever, they come by and maintain?
They automatically do it. And, I haven't received any complaints from Tom Nash of Public Works about any of these benches not being maintained. But I'm sure when there is one that needs maintenance, Tom can call them up and they'll come out right away. But getting back to, if we don't do this contract at some point, then it's going to fall on us. We're going to have to send Public Works to all these benches to paint over the advertising that's there and start maintaining them. And that's my concern. But we can wait until, the amount we're talking about here, waiving from, I believe it's from March to December, is about $3,600 that they're asking for rent forgiveness on.
Reprieve.
So, yeah. So,
Maybe I'm okay with proceeding then to, if you feel, if William feels that this is something that is a nominal cost and it saves us from having to maintain the benches in there. I'm still uncomfortable with the whole advertising thing on either paying us for advertising, we're advertising, but they're not paying us, but I understand the maintenance part of it. And I think that the maintenance part of it is a valid point, that we don't want to have our public works have to maintain it if they're in fact really maintaining it during all this time,
You know,
All right, so what do I,
leading
do
with it.
do I get a motion to approve the contract?
Mayor, if I can make a comment, if we're,
Sure.
if we're gonna be signing off on them not having to pay until January, it strikes me that what's another couple weeks for us to, I mean, I take William's word for it. If Tom Nash has gone around to him, it's just that I would hate for us to now sign off that, okay, you don't have to pay until January, and then maybe we're missing that one has graffiti on it or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, what's another 2 weeks if we're gonna tell them you don't have to pay until January? I'm not saying to push them away. I mean, we're not turning them away, but if we have people that have concerns about maybe wanting to know a little bit more, then I don't think we lose anything by waiting a couple weeks.
Being in
Through the
bid-
chair, to respond to the vice mayor, I'd like to say that, you know what? Yeah, I think William, his due diligence will solve this within a week.
Okay.
well,
Being in
we can bring it back to the October 12th meeting. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing is, I want clarification on what exactly you would like to know. Basically, is the advertising that's on there now, are they being paid for it? So I'm gonna have to reach out to the company and find out. And of course, they're gonna say, because that's what he told us in his email, that they were having trouble collecting or getting new advertising for these benches. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna say that these advertisers that are on there are not paying. So the next question will be, well, if they're not paying, why don't you just remove the advertising? So I'll get those answers for the next
And
meeting.
it may be that some are paying, they're saying they're having trouble collecting, and I would think that means
Yeah.
it's some, that's kind of a general statement, so it could mean that they're having trouble with, one or two, but the others are paying, but there's.
And that's the issue, without getting in there and auditing their books, we have to. take their
No,
word
we
for
don't
it.
need to do that, but just a little more information on the
Well,
advertising.
Let me say one more thing, and I see where this is going. In today's world, being in business myself, sometimes you have to bite the bullet for look forward to the next year. And sometimes you have to understand that what's going on in business, not in school, not at home or whatever. These things are being, you've got to look for some foresight, what's going forward in this country and what's going on. I still think that with the pending, if you're looking at them from their standpoint, pending business, they're looking at the opportunity to have us for 2021. And their opportunity is for us to be solvent with them to go ahead and expand to 2021. Whether they have advertisement or not, whether they're being paid or not, the fact remains is that's not mean anything. What their thing is they need us to commit so they could go ahead and market and get people to put their signs on the bunch bench. They need something for us for a little bit of confidence that they're going to have something in 2021. This is just business. And it's not just about, I just think that you guys aren't looking at it in the perspective of the company that's trying to do business in our city. You guys think it's just cut and go, that these businesses, they're working on such a small margin and such a situation. They're just like the government gives help to everybody. They're looking for a little bit of help from Miami Springs, which is really no cost to us, because the fact is they're going to keep maintaining the benches. Whereas if in fact it goes the other way around, they're not. And then we got to look for somebody else. And then we're going to have bus benches. At least there's some signs on them now, whether they're getting paid for or not, then they have a blank bus bench. So I want you guys to think about this before you make snap judgments about what's going on in the business world because of COVID-19 and what's going on in this country. It's not as easy as you guys make it seem like, well, just don't do it. We can't give them a commitment. We can't do this. It's not that easy. And I can understand their point of view because I'm a business myself. I've had to take things that I would do lesser just to keep the business in the shop. So I want you guys to think about that. I mean, if the manager doesn't think that 2 weeks is going to make a difference, that's fine with me. But I just want you guys to think about what's going on in the world and not just what's going on here in this little Zoom meeting.
I don't
That's
think
all.
any of
Well,
us,
Mayor-
I don't
Mayor,
think
through
any
the-
of us
through
make
the
snap
chair.
judgments related to the city mayor. I
Through
think
the
we all
chair.
hold our responsibility very, very serious.
Yes, I agree with Councilwoman Mitchell, and I'd
To say
further,
that
I
we're
would say,
making snap judgments is just
I would say that the
naive and
private,
immature.
that the private sector, which is your concern, and the municipal sector is apples and oranges, sir.
The
We have a
municipal sector,
contract with these
the
people. They're not
municipal
performing.
sector, the municipal sector has had a leg up over everybody in the private business. The municipal sector has been classified as people that can continue to work. I forget what the word is, it's escaping right now, essential workers. There's our people that have worked in our city has been allowed to work because they're essential workers. There's many people in our city that because of the situation have not been able to work. And the fact is they've also got the money from the government, the 12,000 or whatever the case may be. The city employees of all cities have been essential workers. So in essence, been working the whole time of this COVID-19. They're not like the private businesses that are working 32 hours, some of 14, working from home. So don't say that, Councilman. It's not apples and oranges. It's been a
It
very
is.
much.
It most
it's
certainly
been a
is,
very-
sir.
It's
It
very,
most
been a very
certainly
much.
is.
It's been a very much advantage for people that work for a municipality or a county or a state that work for them to continue working, and the private sector has been hit. So it is a different situation, but that
Mayor,
goes on for something else. But
If
go
if I
ahead.
may,
Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
If I may, I just received a message from Tom Nash. And I asked him, have you received any complaints lately about bus benches not being maintained? He goes, no. Actually, they just installed separators on them a couple of months ago to keep homeless from sleeping on them. So they are maintaining them.
Right.
Okay.
I cannot see any reason why not to continue the contract. I really can't. But it's up to you guys,
Well,
it's up to you.
they're in violation. So I think all we're asking, sir, is that the manager speak to him, and he'll probably solve it in one or two fucking conversations. Pardon the
Okay.
expression.
All right. So we're gonna defer this to the next meeting, or are we gonna vote to allow the manager to go ahead and complete the contract and notify us of the contract?
I'm good with that, sir. I'm good with that, sir.
Can we allow him to do the contract and report to us if he feels everything went good, what our concerns are, that he could get the contract done? If not, we'll have it on the next meeting.
Mayor,
I get a
if I
vote
could
for
just
that?
say, Mayor, my only concern was the maintenance. I take the company for their word. I know they've got some old advertising, but if they're saying that they're not making enough to make ends meet and they're asking us for this, it would just come back to us. So I don't want to turn them away. If we just heard from Tom Nash that they're being maintained, then I'd be willing to move to approve the Fourth Amendment as proposed by the city manager.
Do I get a second?
I'll second that with the caveat that the manager, what our concerns were with the advertising, but right now, what's happening? Are you still getting revenue? Get a little more clarification on that. And if anything raises a red flag or is different from our interpretation of what's happening, that you'll get back to us at the next meeting before signing the
Okay.
contract.
All right.
Okay, I got a first and second. Call the vote, please. You're muted, Erica.
Vice
Oh, there you
Mayor-
go.
Vice Mayor Behet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
Yes.
Mayor Bain.
Yes. We go on to discussion about fireworks. My
Yes,
discussion
Mayor.
about fireworks is that be careful you don't burn your hands. That's my discussion.
Yes, Mayor and Councilman, that's why I have Omar with us. As you know, when we canceled our 4th of July, there was a stipulation on the contract that we either needed to pay the company $500 or hold another fireworks event before year end. So we're here tonight to see what direction council wants to go. We could plan for something for New Year's Eve, or just cancel it altogether for this year and pay the $500.
I want to double fireworks next year. I want
Hey,
to,
hey, I don't
I
blame
want
you.
to carry, I want to carry this over and do a double fireworks next year.
Double
Did we-
fireworks. 40
Mayor-
minutes?
That's
Mayor,
what I
may I
want.
ask the city manager, did you say that we still have, if we decide to do it for the end of the year, for New Year's, that we can still, the contract would still be that we can still cancel and receive everything back except the permit?
Yeah,
$500.
we haven't, remember, we didn't pay them.
Right,
So the contract was that if we didn't hold anything the rest of this year, there would be a flat $500 fee for the permit. So the company reached out to Omar and said, you know, what are your plans? You gonna hold one? Or if not, then they're looking for the $500 fee.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I would like
I,
to propose if the rates continue down and we're under the positivity rate of under the 5%, which is what the county mayor has been aiming for, and if at the end of the year, for December, at the end of December, the rates continue, and there may be surges now with the schools opening. I know there's surges right now with the universities. But if the positivity rates continue to be under 5%, that we consider having it for New Year's Eve.
What's the latest we can make a decision on that?
Maria, I think that's a push. I really do. That's a push. It's a
All right.
push.
Omar?
I just as soon pay the $500 and let's just start over. Next time around. I think that's,
For
that,
4th of
I think
July?
that's the way.
All
Yeah, I
right,
think that's the way to
I'm
go,
not,
Maria. And
that's just
I'm
a
not
thought.
opposed-
I'm not big on it.
No,
I
no.
mean, I'm not
And
set on
I'm
one
not
thing or the
opposed to
other.
what the mayor says. We'll do a double dipper. Let them do 40 minutes next year.
William, when do we have to have a decision made by on the $500?
Omar?
We need to have a decision made pretty soon because not for anything, but fire wants to get the permit closed out one way or the other. So they want to know whether we're going to move forward in some capacity or not. So it's really more fire. Fire is going to bug us for the next 3 months if we wait. In reference to New Year's, the only thing is I would probably recommend asking the chief what he thinks about that, because I know that New Year's Eve is a tough night for our police department.
Yeah, that's
And
another.
having a fireworks show at midnight, I have no idea if we could even host something of that capacity.
And also we'd have to get input from, of course, Paul as to, you know, how this affects the
Yeah,
golf
Paul
course, the
O'Dell.
maintenance and the,
Yeah.
so it's just the thought. I'm not big on
I just-
pushing one way or the other.
I
Just like to
would-
hear from the rest of the council.
I hear you, and I just say pay them. Just pay them.
I would close out the permit and put this $15,000 from VG and do a double firework next 4th of July.
I like
I really
that.
would. I mean, why not? We missed
Like
time.
that.
Do it.
Like it.
You know, because people love that for 40 minutes. I'm telling
Hey,
you.
Mayor,
too.
are they going to agree to that though?
Why not?
Well, I don't. I'm agreeing with you.
Find out.
I agree with rolling it over to next year. I wouldn't gamble on doing something in January. There are too many unknowns. I'd rather pay the $500.
Plus, there's
Walter,
a lot of people.
plus it's my birthday.
Plus,
There you
there's a
go.
lot of people, believe it or not, even though there's the big parties for New Year's, a lot of people are out of town at that time.
Yeah,
They're
that
not
is-
necessarily home.
that
So,
too.
so I'd love to have a double fireworks, sit outside there and go to Maria's house and sit out by the pool.
I'll make you a pina colada, Mayor, if you come
There
over
you go.
for 4th of
Gotta be
July.
better than that.
Yeah,
No, it's gotta-
he drinks the strong
What do you
stuff.
drink?
Hey,
It's too fruity for him.
All right,
Maria,
so
it's
we
got to
could
be
go
two or
ahead- we could go
it's got to
ahead
be
and say
2 or
we're-
3,
we'll-
man.
we'll
On
pay the
one.
We'll pay the permit out and we'll put this money towards the double fireworks at next 4th of July, 21.
That's got to be
That agreed?
negotiated.
That agreed?
I'm fine with
I'm
you,
in
sir.
agreement with that.
Okay. Do we need a motion?
Can we discuss as to whether to put the money, double it for next year? I'd rather, I mean, I definitely would love
Oh,
to
no, no,
have
no, no.
one for 4th of
No,
July.
I'm
but-
not going to agree to double it for next year. I'm
Right,
not going to
I
agree to
just
that.
No, well, we
This
can, we
money-
can, let us find
We'll
out.
decide that
Normally,
next year.
Right.
normally,
Let-
Omar, the show is normally what, about 20 minutes?
About
20.
18 to 20 minutes.
18
Yeah.
to 20, yeah.
So what we need to do is, I'm sure if you ask the company if we want to do a 40-minute show, it's not going to be double. We'll probably get some type of break on the pricing on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we should
but the
move
funds
forward.
are- but the
We'll look
funds are
at
there.
that next year.
The
Yep.
funds
Yeah.
are there.
Right,
Yeah, I said not do it next year. This is this year's budget for next year.
right.
So the funds,
Yeah,
we're not
it's
spending
left
that money
over,
this
right.
year, so the funds are there.
Roll it over.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. And then maybe it won't be 15,000, maybe it'll be less because it's all in one shot. All right. Is that okay? We're cool?
I think we're cool.
All right.
To,
All right, there you
to
go. To what?
next year. Well, I
Yeah,
just
to
want to
have
make
him-
sure that we're not, automatically saying, at least I am not automatically agreeing to next year, we're paying 16,000 like we normally would, plus the 15,000 from this year, and we're going to spend 30,000 on fireworks. We can
That's
look at
what
the possibility of making it more, but I don't want to definitely roll over the money from this year and add it to the next year. I'm all for rolling over the money for next year, from this year to next year, and using that in lieu of the 15 or
Oh,
16,000.
so
we
you
would
just
use.
want, to use a regular fireworks show. We lose one, but we still only have one. I think
No,
I think the people deserve a
think
double,
what-
a double.
What I said is,
All right, I'm
what I
gonna
said is
entertain a
that as we
motion.
get closer, we can look at how much more it would cost to make it a little longer, and, I'm willing to consider that.
I need
But
a motion.
automatically, throwing
Mayor,
out that money, no.
Mayor, I'd just like to speak on this. What I'm saying is the double fireworks need that, a thing like that needs to be negotiated, correct? So Omar and the manager can do that. I'm saying pay the $500 and get out of this deal
Right.
Right.
and go, and let's move forward
Yes.
and let the manager get back to us. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
Yes,
On the plans for next year, you'll get back to us later in 2021 on the
next year.
plans.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Next
options,
year.
Yeah,
the options.
but
Right.
I gotta make it clear here, though. I'm shooting at, no pun intended, I'm shooting at a double fireworks show.
I think it could be
I'm not
quite,
shooting at.
Again, that's gonna be negotiated.
I'm not rolling this money over just to do one. I'm
Right.
doubling it. Do people, you understand what I'm saying?
yes.
Walter,
I-
and
Mayor, I think what you're saying, we want it to be twice as nice. I just don't think it has to be paid double, right? There's only one, they only set up once. We tell them what we want. We want
Okay.
it to be twice as long, twice as impactful. And I'm sure it's not going to be two separate $15,000 charges.
okay, all right, but that's clear with the. with
Yeah,
Councilman-
no, we want it to be,
I
we
don't know
want
if
it
that's
to
clear
be a
with Councilman-
blowout.
Councilwoman
It's
It's
Walker.
not, no, I'm not clear with that. I'm clear with,
See, she's
we
not clear
have a
with that.
fireworks.
Mayor.
Well, and that's what, I'm not, right now, what are we in, September? To say we're just gonna waive, instead of $16,000, we'll waive $32,000 in front of the fireworks company and say, well, give
No,
us
that's not
double
what
the budget. No, let's consider that next year. Well, obviously, we're planning to have a fireworks next year
Then-
and have the manager
I'm gonna
come
need-
back to us at that time.
Then I'm gonna need a
with
motion.
options.
I'm gonna need a motion to what I want then. I'm gonna need a motion because.
Mayor,
she-
through the
I'm gonna
chair,
need a motion.
Chair, I'm gonna make one, sir. Through the
Go ahead.
chair. My motion is that we pay the $500, allow the manager to negotiate and get back to us. That's my motion, sir.
I'll second that.
But your
I second
motion's
that
for,
motion.
your motion's to do a double fireworks though, to do more than
No,
20
I
minutes.
did not say that. That would be wonderful, but that's not my motion.
Okay, then there's the motion. I need a second.
I don't
I second
disagree with
it.
you, but
Okay, well, you guys, I call a vote.
Vice Mayor Fahed,
No.
Councilman Best,
aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Petrolanda,
no, I guess.
Jamie,
Mayor-
you're paying attention or what?
Mayor Bain.
No,
Yes,
The motion fails.
no.
Okay, so what are we doing then?
Okay,
Then
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we pay the $500 to close out the permit now, with the understanding that the spirit of what we want for next 4th of July is that we do something, we ask the company to do something twice as long in terms of its duration and impact. That, and then obviously that's to be negotiated. We don't
Right.
have them at the table, but we
Right.
want to be, I want to be clear with this motion that that is what we want.
Gotcha.
Through the chair, Walt, you
I
know,
need a second
that's,
first.
I'm not giving a sec. I'm speaking to the vice mayor. That's exactly what I said without the last part of what you said. I think we're
But that's the
agreeing.
most,
I know,
That's
but
the-
that's the
that's
part
the most
where we're
important part.
debating. Is that
So,
No,
William,
exactly.
I have a question. So if the mayor wants to make it longer, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to pay an additional 15,000. We could probably make it longer with 5,000, correct?
That's what I was saying before, that
there
let
are
us
setup costs
negotiate,
that you only have to pay for once.
let us
Right.
negotiate,
They know what
because
to do.
That's what I said.
Well,
And
let
it
William speak.
failed. And it
Mayor,
failed.
Mayor, if I could just say
Mayor.
something, this sounds like it's trivial, right? But I know a lot of people really feel like 2020, they just want it to be over with. A lot of people are really saddened by the fact that we didn't get to celebrate the 4th of July. And I think it just, it's meaningful to them to hear us talk about, like, look, we're going to pay this forward. We're going to do something twice as nice. I know that this may seem silly, but I feel like the fireworks company knows what we mean, the spirit of what we mean. I'm sure it's not going to be twice the cost. So that's why I'm proposing it that way.
William,
I-
go
I-
ahead.
I concur.
Mayor, William was trying to say something. He got cut off. Can you go ahead?
Sorry,
and finish,
William. My
no,
apologies.
I was just saying, let us, when we get to that point, Omar will get with the company and we'll negotiate. We'll tell them, hey, we want to do a 40-minute show. How much would it cost? Because I'm sure, there's going to be more fireworks that you pay for, but hopefully the permit and the setup fee and all that is all the same. So let us negotiate with them and
Okay.
see, and
That
then
was
we'll come
the-
back.
That was
That's what I
Councilman
said
Guest
initially,
proposed,
and it
is
got
to
voted down.
negotiate. What,
Yeah.
You
do
guys
we have a
are on-
second on this motion?
I do not. I need a second.
No, I
on the-
need a second. I need a second. Jaime, you gonna second it or no?
I'm not sure what I'm seconding, man. This is going everywhere.
You weren't sure the first
Well,
time.
I would just like to say,
You weren't sure the first time.
I would second Councilman Fahet's motion if it is that that William will negotiate and present the options. If it's automatically that we're doubling it, which means that no
Right.
matter what, we're waiving $32,000 in front of the company, I'm just not going to go for that. I don't think that for our residents, spending an extra $16,000 on fireworks is, we've got a lot of other expenses. This is a really difficult year, like we've been talking, for a lot of reasons. And
But
I'm all for having a better show, but with the city manager coming back to us with the options, with the understanding we would like to double it, but if it means exactly double in price, I want the option to back out. So
Which was my motion, and it
Yes,
got voted.
I agree, and that's
No,
why I
it
agreed
wasn't-
with yours. It's not automatically that we're
wait a
gonna double
minute,
it,
wait a
that we'll
minute.
look at the options.
It wasn't what Councilman Best proposed. Come on, man, let's tell the truth here.
No,
The-
the only
it's
thing
not
missing,
what
Mayor, the
you
only thing
proposed.
missing from my proposal was your doubling of the fireworks.
Because, and
I
that's the
left that
most
out because
important
that's
part of it.
Because the manager
The
will
bottom line is,
negotiate that.
the bottom line, let's state the facts as they are. The bottom line is, we are not spending more money than we would have if we would have had fireworks this year.
All right, that's
So,
finite.
you understand? So what we're doing is we're carrying over the money we didn't spend this year to negotiate a 40-minute fireworks show.
No, that's not entirely true.
All right, we got a first and a second. Call the vote.
We have a second?
I do not have a second.
I
You
thought
do
Councilwoman
not,
said-
sir.
Councilman Mitchell.
You do not have a second.
Councilman Fahet, would you be willing to amend your motion to say that with the looks at, with the intent of doubling it, with the intent, not the, the precise that we're going to double it?
Sure,
And
not
that the
double in
city
price.
manager-
Again, I've been saying double in duration. And
Right.
Well, with the intent
Well,
to
that's
double
gonna
in
be
duration,
price,
because
too.
if the price is
Double
too
in
pricey, then, I want to be able to back out. That's all. I think that we're
You know-
we're
you know
in September,
something?
we can wait for the
You
city
know
manager
something?
to.
This is a no,
the options.
you know something, to the resident of the city, the majority of the city. This is money that they would love to see, see performed. believe it or not, I don't know what circles you live in, but frankly, the calls that I got and the things that were going on that we didn't do this fireworks show, the majority of the people love that. And to
I
give
got
them
one call
something-
from your brother.
But why do you got to slam me like that?
That's
Really,
the
why?
truth. You said you
No,
don't know
but
what.
why
You
are
said
you
you don't
so-
know
why
what
are you
circles
so
I live
obstinate?
in. I got one
Inter-
call from
Why
your
are you so
brother.
obstinate? Why are you so
Interesting.
obstinate about
Interesting.
enjoying something that the people want to
That's the
enjoy?
circles that I live in, I guess.
Oh,
The
you live in a
circles-
bad
the
circle
circles.
then.
Billy, that was
My
not,
God,
shouldn't
everybody
have
would
said
love
that,
to see a fireworks show go longer.
The
For
city
years,
attorney would like to
going like
speak,
that.
sir.
the
What's
attorney.
that?
would like-
The city attorney would
Haiti,
like to say something.
Haiti would
No,
like to.
we
speak.
do I got a first and second?
I have a
You have a
first only.
first.
I do not have a second.
I will
All right.
second
Mayor,
it if the councilman would amend it to say with the intent, we would like to, but, and perhaps Heidi can weigh in on how to say that we're not committed to automatically doubling it if the price is too ridiculously high.
Well, why don't we just give us the option to
That's
work
what
with
I
the company,
said in
and
the
then
original
No,
motion.
no, but we can come back to you with different options. We can tell you, look, a 20-minute show will cost this much, a 30-minute show will cost this much, and a
With
40-minute
options.
show will cost this much. And we go from there.
That's
Would you
fine.
Mayor.
with me.
amend your motion to that, Councilman Fahet? To give us 3 options as to what the 3 times would cost?
I think we are complicating this beyond belief.
No, we're not.
Mayor, can I say
What?
something?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Mayor, let's be real. I mean, we're kind of going back and forth on this. This is kind of trivial because the next console that comes along can just change everything we're doing right now, and we're arguing over some. I mean, because correct?
I don't
The next
disagree with
console
you,
can
Jay.
just change this.
Councilman, I don't disagree with
We
that.
have a long-term contract with this vendor. And Omar, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have a 5-year contract with them.
No,
I think it's
I think,
5.
Omar, isn't it year to year?
The firework contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's year to year.
We get a vote on it every year.
Fine. So what I would recommend, Mayor, is if we can vote on, if the council would like, vote on payment of the permit that was incurred for this year's show, the July 4th, 2020 show that was canceled. And then at the next meeting, we can come back with options for a July 4th, 2021 fireworks show. So that way.
I
only
make that motion.
the company.
I think that was my initial motion, actually.
Well, I just remade it, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Fahet?
Can I be clear? Can that be repeated then? Because it was stated by Heidi. I'm serious, it was stated by Haiti, and now I don't even know what it is that was seconded. Just
It's Heidi.
restate it.
Maria seconded.
It's Heidi, and what I suggested, which is what Councilman Petralanda moved on, was the motion would be to pay the fee that was incurred for this year, which was,
Wow.
I believe, under $600. It was like 500 and change.
500.
Okay, pay the fee. And at the next meeting, administration will come back with options for the July 24th, 2021 fireworks show.
That include prices,
Yes.
as William
Well,
had
that's,
mentioned.
I gotta check with Omar. We gotta contact the company and see if they're willing to give us a quote now in
Yeah, can they
October
give us a quote now?
for
Exactly.
July. So that's something we have to check. But we can bring you back some more information at the next meeting on that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
We'll know later on if anybody feels like skimping on it. But I want to just put this to bed. Okay.
I got a first and second.
You do, sir.
Call the vote.
Vice Mayor Fahet?
Yes.
Councilman Best?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Petralanda?
Yes.
Mayor Bain?
No. We go to virtual and in-person council meeting update.
Mayor and council, the governor had authorized the councils like ours and across the state to conduct meetings virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That authorization terminates October 1 at 12:01 a.m. we do not anticipate at this point that the governor is going to extend that authority. So therefore, for the October 12th meeting, what we are proposing is that the meeting be conducted as a hybrid. And it would be in the form that we did for the June meeting, the one meeting that we've had in person in the last 6+ months.
That was the Rebecca Sosa Theater, Haiti?
That's correct. It's Heidi, by the way. So the meeting would be at the Rebecca Sosa Theater, and we would have a quorum of council present. The requirement is at least a quorum of the governing body be present in person physically. So if there's anyone who doesn't feel comfortable meeting in person, they come in via Zoom. But I don't anticipate that that's the case in our city. So we will meet in person. We'll have a limited number of persons from the public who can attend in person just due to social distancing. And they can continue to appear and listen to the meetings the way that we've been doing the last 6 months via Zoom. They can send in their public comments via email. They can appear in person and they can appear via Zoom.
I don't have a problem with that.
There's other alternatives, but I think that that's probably the best based on what the city's, desires are.
Haiti, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that relative to it unless we get a spike between now and then. And then, of course, we'll be advised.
Heidi, and that would be anyone, if they feel sick or whatever, they have the choice of, and they're not sure, they've been in contact with someone who had COVID, then they would have the choice of doing it virtually. Is that correct?
So
Say
yeah,
any of the council members, so for
correct.
instance, we're all planning to be there, but if there's any reason that we feel that it might compromise the others, that we would do it virtually. We would have the option.
As long as we have a quorum in person, so 3 out of 5 of you in person, that is fine. There are other alternatives, but I think that we don't need to head down that path. I know some cities are doing things differently, but I think that this is based on speaking to you all individually, I think that's where you want to be.
And the other, if there's a quorum of 3 out of 5, the other council members can just be virtual and can still vote, or
Yeah.
no? Yes,
Yeah.
okay. And the same for the city manager or, anyone obviously of the administration that's needed at the meeting.
And the clerk would have to monitor that, right?
Monitor,
The
participation?
absent people from the quorum.
well, they would be present for purposes of the meeting.
Gotcha.
William, you don't foresee any issues with the technology, correct? If that case happens to.
No, I think Erica's been working with our IT people, getting ready for this, because we knew it was coming down the pipe at some
Okay,
point.
the other, William, the other issue I had last time we had it in the Rebecca Sosa Theater, I think is the audio. I think we were set up for audio for the cameras, okay, but I'm not sure if we were set up for audio, because I really couldn't hear what Bob was saying. It was all the way at the other end. So maybe, did we have speakers set up inside the theater for everybody to hear, or the mics were just hooked up to the cameras?
No, I think we were
No, we were live.
normal.
In the meeting.
I
I
was in
don't
the audience
remember.
at the time and
No,
and there was
Ralph came
audio,
by.
we could hear it. There were speakers.
You could hear it.
I
Well,
couldn't-
yeah,
I couldn't
Yes,
hear-
yes.
yeah.
I couldn't hear
Jamie.
what was going on in all the way on Williams' side. I think I complained to Heidi back then, or to Erica were next to me. So maybe we need to have maybe 1 or 2 more speakers in the Rebecca Sosa Theater so we can all hear, because it's fine if you hook up the camera, you hook up the mics to the camera, the folks at home can hear it. But the people in the theater might not unless you have speakers. So that's the only thing I asked that we look into.
I think you mentioned that to Mara, quite honestly.
Mayor,
Was
I
she
have
there?
one more question for
I
the
think she was
city
gone
manager.
already.
Yeah, she
Please.
wasn't there.
No,
She was so.
okay. No, but I think it was to Heidi or to Eric. I mentioned it to somebody. I just don't remember.
We'll make it better.
Thank you.
Make
That's
it
all I'm
better.
asking.
There you
Yeah.
go. Erica, good answer.
Yeah, let's
Mayor, I have
not
a
make a
question
big
for
deal about it.
The city manager on this?
Yes,
Please. William, as far as I think the Rebecca Sosa Theater right now is being used as a learning center for, at the rec center for.
During the day,
parents.
yes.
Right.
I know the schools are opening up in October. Will we be continuing with the learning center after the
Yes.
schools open up?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and just
because
our having the meeting there pose any hardship, anything as far as the students being there in the
No, I-
daytime, and then do we need to
Fair.
clean in between, or is there anything, or after our meeting?
Erica has already addressed that with Omar.
Yeah, fair
Since the
question,
virtual
fair
care
question.
ends around 3, 4 o'clock, they all go down to the court, the basketball courts to do homework and stuff. So the room will be available for
And as
setup.
far as cleaning, say after our meeting, when the students come back the next morning, we can manage that,
yeah.
and it's a whole different group of people coming in, you know, for our meeting. I want to make sure we're
Correct.
not posing a risk to the students.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're gonna vote to do this for the next meeting? I need a motion.
Motion to move, sir.
Second,
I'll vote.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Mitchell,
Yes,
Councilman Petrolanda,
yes,
Mayor Bain.
Yes, we go to 12C.
This is a request from Councilwoman Mitchell to discuss the situation of the county's use of our area hotels.
okay. I just wanted to have a chance to discuss this with the council. You know, obviously because of the Sunshine Law, these are things we can't discuss that are going on. But the county, as you know, the county has contracted with, one of the county departments has contracted with 2 of our Miami Springs hotels to provide housing for the homeless, hotel housing for the homeless. I know the mayor, and I want to thank the mayor. I know you've been very actively talking with Commissioner Sosa and the mayor and others in the county, as I have to, you know, find out what's going on. Where we had at the last meeting, a lot of residents showing up complaining about the homeless situation here in Miami Springs. And obviously, you know, this is for the people that work with the Homeless Trust. It's a very noble profession. I have nothing but respect for them. And I understand, you know, the hardships of the homeless, and you know, I have compassion for them. But obviously, our responsibility is protecting our city and doing the best for our city, and addressing issues when residents are complaining about situations. So what I'd just like to ask for the council for consensus is, well, let me state my point, is right now it appears that out of 2 hotels with 200 rooms each that were being designated for the Homeless Trust, this last week we were able to get the county to remove one of the hotels from their list of providing hotel availability for the Homeless Trust. But we still have another hotel that provides about 200 rooms. They are using those rooms use those rooms to provide meals and counseling and everything else. So that hotel in essence is not meeting the occupational license of what you know, a hotel, when we have allowed hotels and in our community, it's for tourists and business travelers and stuff. And now we have a situation where these hotels are being used for other businesses in essence. And what I'd like to ask is the council's consent to ask our city attorney to look into the options of how we can have some sort of requirement that if the county is going to contract with these hotels, and these hotels are going to contract with the county for these non-hotel uses, and this isn't we're talking about emergency, but an emergency to us is, you know, usually a hurricane where we're talking a few days or weeks. Obviously this pandemic emergency, and who knows what emergencies could occur in the future, can go on for months and even years. That we're in the loop, that a hotel and the county can't on their own make these contracts to totally change the type of occupancy, the type of use of a business in Miami Springs without at least contacting us, letting us know what they're thinking about, giving us the option to consider it, to look into it. For instance, if this had happened with these first 2 hotels, we would have asked, well, how many other hotels are you using in Miami-Dade County to provide the service? And we would have found out that actually we're providing 80% of the housing for the homeless in our 2 hotels. And we would have said, no, this isn't reasonable. You know, it has to be spread to other communities too. There's a lot of hotels in Miami-Dade County, and I'm sure a lot of them bid for this ability during the pandemic when they didn't have occupancy. So that's all I'm asking is for the council to give the consent to our city attorney to look into the possibilities of what we can require to be informed of, to be part of the decision-making, to perhaps be able to approve these uses for these buildings that are for long-term no longer being used for the purpose that we have them designated for.
I thank you. I mirror your concern, Councilwoman. According to what we've been told, there's 177 people that are homeless people that are being sheltered in the county, and 107 of them are here in the Springs. And that's 60%. And we don't, as a community, we don't have 60% of the homeless people in the county. I just question why, because according to this organization, there's no time limit to them being there, and they don't ask anyone to leave. I'd like for the city to be able to approach this organization. And again, I mean, I'm 100% with you. I think it's very noble that they want to help these people, but I don't understand why we're getting 60% of the occupants and that have no time. There's no time limit for them to go. They don't get asked to leave. And why aren't these other, if they're homeless, they could be sheltered anywhere. I just wonder why we're getting a disproportionate amount of the people in our city.
And Councilman Behet, the other hotel that was until Friday that, you know, had been available meant that they still had another 200 rooms available for homeless, which meant that our situation could only get more complex because whatever problems we're encountering could actually double. Now that they've removed that hotel from the list, at least we just have 1 hotel.
Mayor, what were you going to say?
Well, you know, Councilwoman Mitchell stated it very, very much clear, but the commissioner, as far as the situation about, according to her, you know, the Hampton Inn has been shut down. And you know, she was very much instrumental in helping out doing this. There's a fellow by the name of Book who's part of this, who was supposed to have a conference call with myself and Mr. Alonso and some other person, and possibly come and speak at the meeting tonight, but it never came to fruition. The fact remains is like was said, 80% of the homeless was going to be housed in Miami Springs, which there was no notification until our police department went there for a call, fire department went there for a call. Why Miami Springs gets crapped on like this all the time, I just can't have any reason why it happens like this. The bottom line is 80% in one city even went ahead against what the rules were for the county. The county, even that was against the rules, but the county still did it. And the fact is, it is a private contract between the hotel and the association. According to the commissioner, there is something we can do legally, but talking to our council, it has to be researched. You know, anybody could say it could be done legally, but the fact remains is at least the county could have gave us notice what they were doing, what they were going to do. And frankly, in our city, if we find 5 homeless people in our city is too many. I mean, I don't know why they put the burden on our situation. And the other situation is it collected the people from the TGK that came down the street, and it kind of collected and they intermingled with each other. So I did my job with the commissioner, and of course the county mayor never called me back as usual. He told me one time that no mayors talk to him except for I do. And then when I call him, he doesn't call me back. So now I understand why no mayor talks to him. He doesn't talk to any mayor that gives him a call back. So that's the kind of a situation this is.
Yeah, he's running for the house.
You know, whatever the case may be, you know, he says to me, yeah, Mayor, you're the only one who talks to me one-on-one. And then after I talk to him one-on-one 3 or 4 times, I call him, and it's been 7 calls and he hasn't called me back. So there's no reason to talk to him anymore. The situation is almost to its end. But I think that the main thing that we got to get across from this is that the county should have notified us what they were doing to allow us to have the option. And then it's up to Heidi and Dan to figure out a way, if there's any legality that we can stop the county from doing this, because remember, it is home rule. They have the power over us, period. And we can fight back all we want and do whatever we want to do, but legally, we'll have to figure out a way that this can't happen again. So
And that's
that's the bottom line of it all. So I
Yeah, it
think
is.
leaving the meeting, we need a report from Heidi and Dan, what they find out from the county attorneys and what can be done the next time around. And that's where we stand with it. And you got to give Commissioner credit, whether we'll give her credit that she shut the Hampton Inn down. We'll give her the credit.
It didn't have
Although-
anybody housed there, though.
I know, but we'll give her the credit.
Well, this is the problem,
You got it.
Councilman, is
Walter,
that
Walter,
the
you gotta
opportunity
remember.
was there
Excuse me, I'm
to,
still talking, excuse me.
sorry,
Walter,
sorry, Mayor.
Walter, you have to give her the credit for shutting the Hampton down.
Yeah.
Believe me, when you sit there, you understand what I'm saying. You
I
have
know,
to give her
but
the credit.
there's something within the
Yes, give her the
decision-making of the homeless trust. There's a location in Homestead, in North Miami, and in Overtown. All these
Well-
people are being displaced, and somebody's making the decision to put them here in Miami Springs,
Well,
not where.
Well, bottom line is, what about the route? Is there anything that has to do with the person that represents this homeless situation happens to represent the route? I mean, I'm showing you a bigger picture, mister. Down
Yeah,
the
no,
road,
I
when you
understand.
when you said, I'm showing you the bigger picture of what the hell goes on around here. No
Yeah.
matter how you look at it, we get crapped on, and I can't use the word I want to use, but we get crapped on for why maybe when there's a Latin mayor, maybe it'll be better. But being a gringo mayor, maybe it's a problem with them. I don't know, but it just seems like it just happens this way. But let's go forward and allow our attorneys and everybody to come through with what we need to know about and what can go forward from here.
Mayor,
Okay,
and I would just
All right.
ask. for
I
the
don't know what
attorney
else to say.
I would just ask for the attorney, right now, we're dealing with the homeless trust using this, but this could very easily be the TGK, when the pandemic occurred, the federal prisons were required to release inmates because of the overcrowding and to let them out early. If that happens, the county could use the hotels that they've contracted with here in the Miami Springs to provide housing for that. So, for me, I would really like to see how we can prevent this from happening based on that's not the allowable use of those buildings. Right now, the one hotel that's being used with 200 is basically a Camilla's house. And that's not what the occupational use of that facility is or what we've authorized. So thank you, Mayor, for reaching out to the county on this to get us, to get the Hampton Inn off, because the problem could only double. If that.
Agreed with you. Agreed. I just make it the final statement is that we'll allow our city attorneys to get with the county and the powers to be to come up with possible, because I don't want to make promises to the residents because of legalities that we might not be able to do anything about this. But the possibility that we can have some kind of say or some kind of a notification that the county can't just stick us with this kind of stuff anymore. So I hope that we can leave it at that and allow our attorneys and the powers to be to go through it.
Yeah, we could have something to say, and there are alternatives that can be explored.
Possible, yeah. But again, the county seems to have more power than what we would like them to have with the home rule situation. And
Agree with
we
you.
would like to just rule ourselves, but
Exactly.
evidently that's not how it goes. All right, there we go. Good report. I hope
Very
that the
good
residents
call on
understand
that-
what's
on that
going on,
issue.
especially from the east side. I hope they understand we're working our little tiny little weenies off to get this done. We go to D. D.
Wait a minute.
Let's move on.
12D.
All right. I just.
Speak
I'm
for
just-
yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
12D. That's just an expression. Don't take it
Okay.
literally. You guys take everything
At a
literally.
deference for the 4 females that are on with us tonight.
Well, my screen has all men. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We go to 12D.
Yes, this is a request by Councilwoman Mitchell to discuss short-term vacation rentals such as Airbnbs that Mr. Curry so eloquently spoke about earlier. So Councilwoman?
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is again, another issue that I'm bringing up for discussion because I would like the council's consent to ask our city attorneys to look into the options here. We had one resident, Mr. Corey, speak about how for over a year now, his house in his neighborhood has been used as an Airbnb, and basically it is rented every weekend for parties, for different parties. The police are called. When the police respond, they're responding to, they're speaking with whoever happened to rent it for the weekend. It has nothing to do with the owner. It's just, that person doesn't care. They'll just say, oh, the other police showed up. So it's my understanding, I know we're preempted from regulating short-term vacation rentals by the state legislature, but my understanding is that there's some municipalities that have put in some requirements such as an occupational license and other things to make it so that we have a little more control over knowing at least which homes are continually being used as short-term vacation rentals. And when there's a problem, a repeated problem where the police are called every weekend, that we have the name of the owner, that we communicate with the owner and let them know, hey, the police were called to your property again, those kinds of things. So all I'm asking is again for the council to allow our city attorneys to explore what sort of, and I want to say, I'm not against short-term vacation rentals per se. There are a lot of people in Miami Springs, not a lot, but there are quite a few in Miami Springs, and most of them are done discreetly. They provide a little extra income for the owners, and when they're done discreetly, they provide a little extra income. They provide a service to the community. A lot of times people use them they have relatives coming in, and in their whole house in Miami Springs is too small, and they're using something else. So it's not that I want to eliminate them. I just want the city to have some control over the ones that are just blatantly abusing our neighborhood and our residents. And if any of you read the article in the Herald, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, about a short-term vacation rental situation in Shenandoah, it was a nightmare. And it's been going on for a year, and even the owner wants to stop using it and can't. The place is rented out. So I'd like to address that before we get there.
Okay, so Heidi, we have consensus for you to come up with different restrictions and regulations to help mitigate the situation for the short-term rentals. Does everybody agree with that?
I do, sir.
Okay.
I do.
All right. We go on to 13A, the city attorney. She has an update for us on the runway in.
So thank you, Mayor and Council. As you know, about a week and a half ago, we obtained an injunction against the ownership of the Runway Inn, which, as you know, and I'm sure many members of the community know, had become a nuisance along 36th Street and East Drive. Police Chief Armando Guzman and his team did an excellent job. I really have to commend them on the work that they did that allowed us to do our job. So I'll let him speak to that. But from the legal side, from the civil side, what we've done is we have filed a lawsuit to enjoin, to stop the nuisance that's at the Runway Inn. And I should say that was at the Runway Inn because it has been stopped. So that hotel has now been closed due to it being deemed a nuisance, and it will not be able to reopen unless and until it meets the minimum requirements that were included in the court's order. Have begun preliminary discussions with the ownership of the Runway Inn and their attorneys, and they're just that, discussions. Everything is on the table in terms of being of options that are being considered. There's such options such as everything from potential demolition to sales to getting the building up to code and up into compliance. So it's just that, discussions, but for now the runway remains closed.
One question, Heidi, that they have to follow the court order. I think some people think that we're the ones that are going to make the decision on whether they reopen or whatever the case may be. It is through the court that they have to follow the court's guidance of how they got to open. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor. The court's order includes minimum standards that they need to comply with. But I will add that any plan that they present to the court, we will, as the city, will have to either consent to it, approve it, or say, Judge, this isn't enough. We
Right.
want to do more.
But
So
what I want to say is people's concerns are that it could be negotiated through the city, but in reality, it's going to go through the court first. And even then, the court's going to have to approve of anything we decide to do with the hotel. Is that correct?
what it is in order for them to open, they will need to, if they choose to reopen, they will need to present a plan to the court that meets the minimum standards in the court's order.
Right.
And in an effort for them to be able to do that successfully, it's probably to the benefit that the city know ahead of time what they plan to submit to the court, because it's probably more beneficial for them to go into court with something that the city already approves of.
Gotcha. I got you. Okay. All right. Thank you. And Chief, you want to say anything? I know you guys, when I was down there, there was about 15 entities that went in there from Homeland to different things. You have anything to say?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. It was a tremendous effort, but not just us. As you mentioned, there was numerous agencies involved. And the cooperation and assistance we got from the state attorney, Ms. Rundle, and her human trafficking task force. And that group alone is composed of numerous agencies: City of Miami, Miami Beach, West Miami, Miami-Dade County, Homeland Security, Secret Service. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for the teamwork and the detailed work, I didn't think we could have done it as quickly as we did. But that was part of the process. And then we had all the city departments involved, and we had a tremendous amount of support and help from Heidi and her group, and Dan and Eric, that we provided them all the paperwork information, and they put together the civil action that was presented to the court. I believe, and Heidi, correct me if I'm wrong, that you and your team also were pleasantly surprised at how quickly the injunction came through. But it was a good event. It turned out well. And so far, things have been very quiet in that area.
Good.
Yeah.
And we had somebody special in our, we can't mention any names but we had somebody special in our little police department that did a good job too.
Yes, absolutely. He was the
Yeah.
lead investigator. We can mention names, but
I didn't know. I mean, we held him from the camera. So
well, yeah, the picture, right. We don't want to put his picture out there, but Detective Jason Hall was the lead investigator, and he's also like we are, the Miami Springs Police Department. We are part of the human trafficking task force for the state attorney's office. So, yeah, he was the lead. He took the bull by the horns as far as the investigative side, but everybody really did their share.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of kudos from the other department.
Yes.
We should be very proud of what our police department, our little police department, did a heck of a job with the help of them people. I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you, sir.
No, I just Mayor, to mention, I called the state attorney and thanked her for her participation in that, just for your information, sir.
Well, that's one of her big things, is human trafficking and the sex trafficking.
That's what got the feds in it.
I'm sorry?
That's what got the feds involved, right?
Well, they're also part of the human trafficking task force. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
And maybe this might put the other hotels on notice that they should do the right thing. And
very good point.
It definitely has, because we have gotten calls from a couple of other locations as to some of the things they're doing. And I said, okay, thank you. But some of those things you should have been doing all along. So there's several of them in the area that are very concerned that they're going to be next. And we've got our eyes on other locations.
Yeah.
To the Chief's point, Mayor, when he mentioned that we were very happy with the result, but we could not, I don't think, anytime you go into court, things can always go one way or the other. But we were we were pretty fairly confident in the case that we have, simply because the data that Chief Guzman and the department were able to provide us with, 300% of an increase in calls to our department at that location alone, was significant. And I think that likely caught the judge's attention. And so we were able to act quickly and get a result. I think it was probably within 6 hours of filing, we were able to get this injunction. So that was impressive. We're really proud of that work, but we definitely could not have done it without Chief Guzman and the entire department's efforts.
Well spoken, Haiti. Mhm.
Okay, good. We go to city manager, anything?
No, man, just reminding residents that the One Blood Mobile will be at the community center September 30th. And we're planning on having another food drive, this time on a Saturday, October 17th. Starting at 9 a.m. We usually start it at 8 if the truck comes in on time. But that will be Saturday, and then that's Representative Avila and Senator Diaz are providing Feeding South Florida for that day. So just wanted to bring those two items up to, and I want to also commend Heidi and her firm and Dan and Eric, because believe it or not, what they accomplished in getting that court order is not easy. I mean, we were sweating it out for those 6 hours. So they're to be commended, and the same thing with the chief and Jason and the rest of his officers. They did a great job, and as the chief said, we're not finished yet, right, Chief?
No, sir, we're not.
And
Let's just say,
finally, I just want to thank council for this budget process this coming year, and it was easy and painless. And I want to thank you for the millage that you set tonight and the budget that you approved for next year.
Okie dokie, Choki. All right, we go to the city council. Councilwoman Mitchell, anything from you?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. One thing is with the budget, I wanted to thank William and his staff and all the council for, the work that we did on the budget. And I just wanted to make the mention, we kept it the same. We didn't increase it, even though we just gave ourselves a little wiggle room during the budget workshop to have that need should a hurricane strike or something. But I just wanted to make a comment to the residents that, we could be the most popular council up here if we just lower the millage rate to practically nothing. But our responsibility is to keep the services consistent regardless of who's up here on the dais. And so we have a responsibility to make sure that, that we're meeting that for not just us, but for the future councils that are here, that they have the reserves and the money to continue the services that you need. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is, again, thank the Heidi and her firm and the chief and all of our police officers and the city manager and our code enforcement and everyone that's worked with this with the runway in. By coincidence, that last council meeting, we had a lot of residents complaining about the situation, and none of us could say anything because we knew that this had been in the works for quite some time and was going to actually take place that night. So it was just really good timing that we were able to resolve it so quickly after the next day. And then the last thing, I think all of us have gotten some public comments recently about the animal ordinance in the city. And of course, we're hearing from the residents who would like changes in the animal ordinance. So I would like to propose that we put that as a discussion for the next council meeting to, we're having residents ask us to change the ordinance. At least we should discuss it and see what the possibilities are. And then that also allows residents who feel strongly about maintaining the ordinance the way it is an opportunity to know that this is going on and to talk.
Councilman Best?
Thank you, Mayor. Just three things, sir. First off, thanks for your leadership in this budget. I thought you were spot on with where you wanted to go with this. I saw your vision right up front. And certainly William for your compilation of it and making it easy for us to understand. Excellent job. I think we did the residents justice there. Secondly, Chief and all involved with the runway in. Major tactical operation. And I recognize that you guys waited and you waited and you waited until you had something and you nailed them and you got it right. I think that was brilliant. I just got to tell you that, Mr. Chief Guzman. And yeah, and Maria, relative to what you just mentioned on the animal issue, I'd like to go one step further than that and ask for an agenda item on that very issue for the next city council meeting.
Okay. You can
Erica, you
get,
with me on that?
you can go through that with the manager. You can always put it on the agenda.
Okay. No, I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention to all of you now, though, that
Yeah.
it's my recommendation. I agree with Maria,
Okay.
and I'd like to see it as an item, not a discussion, an item.
Sure. You put on as proposed by Councilman Best, just like Councilman Mitchell did today.
Thank you, Mayor Bain.
You got it. Councilman Petrolanga?
Yes, I want to echo some of my colleagues. Thanks. I want to thank, first of all, the chief. The chief did an outstanding job, and obviously he can't do it by himself. I want to thank the rest of the officers that were involved, the city manager and staff, state attorney, excuse me, the state attorney's office, Weiss Rhoda, Dan Spino, and Heidi. I want to thank them. I also want to thank somebody that we usually don't thank, and that's Juan de Arce and his team of legislation process servers for their professionalism and quick action on serving the owners of the hotels. Regarding the budget, Mayor, I'd like to thank William, and actually I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and William, for your leadership. As Bob said, I think it went pretty smooth. Out of all the budgets I've been involved for the past almost 8 years, I think this was the worst one, and it went smoothly. I think it was because of your leadership and the city manager's office. I'd like to thank the rest of the council, obviously, Maria, Bob, Walter. I think, Walter, did you participate some on this budget?
No, just on the tail.
No, that
end.
was
You guys
George.
did.
I'll
It
take
was
it
George
back,
Loeb. George
I'll take
Loeb
it
was
back,
instrumental.
Walter. I want to thank George Loeb for his coming in and
Hey.
helping out. And obviously,
did.
let's not forget Erica. Erica and her staff did an outstanding job. Good job, Erica. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Fasette?
Fahet.
Fahet?
Just that.
So thank you, Mayor. And I know I'm just repeating but I think it bears repeating because lots of people got to lodge their complaints. And so I want to be repetitive in my praise for Chief Guzman and the Miami Springs Police and the State Attorney's Office and the City Manager's Office. And obviously Heidi and Dan, they did tremendous work when lots of residents were complaining to all of us, and what may have seemed like inaction to them was not so. It was a coordinated effort that was happening undercover, and I was happy and proud of the work that they did. So it deserves lots of praise. And with some of the county restrictions going back, it is very good news, and I just want to tell people to continue to be cautious so that we can keep it going and not have a spike and allow our businesses to bounce back. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we continue going. Thank you, Mayor.
Good. You know, on the situation with the hotel, if you remember last meeting, I was like somebody trying to run away. I wanted to say something that, if you remember, I said, don't worry, you're going to see something soon, but I didn't want to give it away because I was told that, keep your trap shut. But it's a tough thing sometimes that people think you're sitting around doing nothing, and they just don't understand that the way this country works anymore, you got to have your ducks in a row, your eyes dotted, your T's crossed before you do certain things. And I think sometimes, and not to say it's wrong, the public gets a little bit impatient, but the bottom line is, in one sense, it's a it's a good thing what we did, what we had to do. In another sense, in my mind, it's never a good thing to have to shut something down, but this had to be done for, it just had to be done. I'll say that the budget is, we had our little tips or taps, what we have to do, but I think we did a pretty good job with the leadership from the manager and all of us that were involved in it. I recommend that if you all can get a chance to go see the new senior center, see if you can get with the manager and get a tour. That place is absolutely spectacular. I don't know if any of you been there, but I got a chance to go look at it. I already picked out my room and my locker. So, I am 64,
And my
so
locker.
I can go there and eat and everything, but it
blows you away.
with that generator and everything, what they have there for after a hurricane. We're gonna have some place, instead of renting the rooms like we have been in the 36th Street for some of the seniors to be cool, they'll have everything there, but after a hurricane, not during. And it is really spectacular. It really is. And hopefully they'll be open in the first of the month coming up here. And we can
Yeah,
have
that's right. We got there, Bill, right?
some kind of get together.
Yeah.
So everybody have a good evening. There's a beautiful football game on tonight.
Go.
So
I think the Ravens are going to pull us off tonight.
well, they're leading right now. So I've been watching.
Well, I don't know.
it.
I haven't had it
No,
on.
I'm watching it behind me.
I figured
Everybody have
that.
a good night.
Thank you.
Erica,
Good night.
what you do to keep these meetings going? You should be commended.
Oh.
Fantastic. Okay.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Does a
this
good
meeting's
job.
adjourned. This meeting's adjourned.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Good
Good night.
night.
All right.
I did say it was Williams.